processing power wasn't able to before. So I think that's really quite incredible. And there's so many other things as well, like drug discovery and development, analyzing biological data to identify potential drug candidates and optimize molecular structures, things like this, disease prediction and prevention. That's something really amazing. I mean, to be able to predict from your existing condition what disease you're most likely to encounter at some point in the future if you continue to have the habits that you have, or based on your maybe genetic makeup or something like this. It's pretty terrifying because it's basically saying that it's maybe going to be able to predict the future, but I think that's a pretty wow moment for me anyway this year.
One of the really wow moments for me, and I wouldn't necessarily say it's all like 100% positive, but it was like, whoa. One thing was, apparently some people have been using AI to predict and make decisions in buying stock, and I just find that to be fascinating. Not necessarily a wow moment, but there was also a moment, which was apparently recently from one of those European countries of researchers said that they're using AI to predict death, and that's also kind of mind-boggling to me, but I'm kind of happy to see that it's not widely used so far, and I really have some serious brain adults with that. But yeah, Dingheng, what about you? Did you have one of those wow moments?
Yeah,
it's fine if you didn't.
Well, I feel like as somebody who works in the media or news industry, there was also a deepened sense of urgency and crisis from the threats of AI. I feel like my job opportunity and my job stability, security is further under threat by AI, particularly this kind of generative AI, because if you take a look at the content that they are able to generate based on the information fed to them by other people, by the existing materials, they can really write things organize their writing in a very, very logical and storytelling manner. Their narrative was really good and professional. The use of their vocabulary, of their words, that's really something I feel like I am losing competitiveness, my own competitiveness. So really, I feel like I have to work harder, and also I need to call on the more government authorities to somehow step in. I guess that's the concern on the part of not just we media people, but also people from many other, occupations and industries, like you said, even those high-ranking, really advanced talents in the financial industry, their job stability and sustainability is also under threat.
Yes, it's really interesting you mentioned storytelling, because that is part of what we do in this profession, as well as in so many others. When you think about advertising, for example, it's also storytelling, and not to mention, the creative realm of, writers, music composition, and so many other areas that AI definitely has an influence over. And reflecting on the use of AI-generated narratives, I ponder how to preserve the emotional depth and human connection inherent in storytelling, or is it even intrinsic value anymore? And just to ensure that technology enhances rather than replaces the soul of our narratives. But one issue is that every now and then, every now or other week, it feels, some famous person comes out and saying that, J.K. Rowling, who single-handedly created the world of Harry Potter, in the next couple of years of time or so of AI development, some say that she could be replaced. And that kind of thing just, every time kind of shocks me a little bit. But after a whole year of using AI in our work as such, at the moment, I think it is a shaky feeling that I share with you, Dingheng. That is, I feel that AI is getting so good that it is a powerful tool to have in hand. And so far, it seems like what we do is okay, not being replaced yet, but it's like what happens next year or the year after that. That is really kind of making people nervous. And this prospect of AI as a creative partner sparks contemplation about the fine line between augmentation and replacement. And AI can enhance our creative processes, offering new perspectives and possibilities. Or actually, I'm just going to say this as a statement instead of a question. It does pose a threat to the distinct human touch in crafting compelling narratives. Josh, do you have any thoughts here? Do you feel that sort of your ground is shaking a little bit in terms of your career because of all these eye-opening advances that happen in the tech world?
Yeah, I think there is some concern there. I think especially anybody that works in language or is writing a lot for their job or speaking a lot like we are, I think that we probably all have second-guessed ourselves or wondered what the future will hold for us. But I think for me personally, these models, I even think that writing, in essence, is just a communication skill, really. It's an ability to articulate and process and produce information in a particular way, in a very clear, concise, and effective way, whatever that may be, whatever the task may be. So I think that although a lot of my work probably will be taken or be able to be done by AI, what I need to do, this is why I felt some pressure to sort of master it, because I think that it is a tool and I probably need to learn how to use this tool, and I probably need to become an expert in, maybe AI prompts, as opposed to just writing in a normal word processor like Microsoft Word, which is still pretty sad when I say it. I still get pretty depressed because I spent so long at university learning how to write and reading and writing essays and even teaching that afterwards. But still, I think that I just need to get over it, roll with the times, and probably accept that my best option is to use, that is still a skill, but instead of a pen, now my pen is AI language models, I look at it like that.
Yeah, it would be just extra defeating when you are, let's say, using ChatGPT to write in English, and mostly it's been trained in the English language, and I just don't think it's hardly, okay, let's just put it this way, it's hardly possible that somebody who's studying English as their second language to beat ChatGPT ever, because the prose, the text, it turns out just in a matter of seconds. It's like lifelong learning for you, and you might not even be able to get to that point. And yeah, I experienced that sort of defeating nightmare at a certain stage.
Yeah, and probably, I guess, especially for people involved in that kind of replacement, especially for roles involving like repetitive tasks. However, like earlier, there is also new opportunities. Versions of new the oversight of AI. The two of my friends. The European Union and the United States, they're really sort of competing with each other in terms of setting the rules and standards. Intelligence alone cannot pay isn't any particular invention scientifically. However, I think even with that in mind, there are still many questions that remain unanswered. For example, if you use the AI as a tool, as a kind of assistant to create or to invent, to what extent should you get credit for your invention or creation? I think this particular question still remains unanswered. And so definitely we're moving into a completely, uncharted territory. And unfortunately, we cannot sort out all these issues surrounding AI governance. So more international cooperation rather than seeing AI as another battleground for geopolitics.
Yeah, that's really good. And a lot of these issues simply have not been solved, and nor do we see them to be solved anytime soon. But this is a contested area that every day we see new things going on. And this year, to me, it seems to show that AI's advancement have taken the safety blanket away of many creative jobs. And I think that's the really one powerful and scary thing that generative AI has brought to the table. And aside from ChatGPT, there's Google's Gemini, which has been unveiled, if not garnered some attention this year. And what about China? How are the Chinese tech companies performing in this generative AI world?
Well, by June, China has developed at least 79 large-scale artificial intelligence models with over 1 billion parameters each. This is according to a report by the Institute of Scientific and Technical Information of China, which is affiliated with the Ministry of Technology. Provincial regions in China have contributed to the research and development of large-scale AI models. To support the endeavor, local authorities have offered public computing the rising computing demand from large-scale AI models. And by the end of July, there were more than 130 LLMs in China. A new era of 100 models began, according to Jiang Jie, who is Tencent's vice president. So nearly all leading Chinese internet companies, including Baidu, the Alibaba Group, JD and ByteDance, have jumped on the AI-powered language learning model bandwagon. I've got a couple more examples here. In October, Chinese tech company Baidu unveiled the latest version of its language model, Ernie 4.0, claiming its capabilities are on par with those of OpenAI's most advanced GPT-4 model. Ernie 4.0 has achieved a full upgrade with improved performance in understanding, generation, reasoning, and memory compared with previous models, according to Robin Li, who's the co-founder, chairman, and CEO of Baidu. I have one more example for you from Tencent. Tencent, which of course is a leading technology company, debuted its much-awaited universal large language model, Hunyuan. I hope I'm saying that correctly, Hunyuan, in September. Hunyuan has a scale of over 100 billion parameters and pre-training data of over 2 trillion tokens, two standards used to measure the power of AI models, if you haven't heard of those before.
Wow, that's a lot of exciting things going on in the field.
Yeah.
And what are some of China's breakthroughs in science and technology? There are more than a few, but what's the one that really deserves our attention?
Yeah, so one breakthrough is that Chinese scientists have, over the course of 2023, developed the first super ionic hydride ion conductor, according to the Dalian Institute of Chemical Physics of the Chinese Academy of Sciences. So basically, we're talking about a substance that is a reactive hydrogen species and a carrier of energy. Materials that conduct pure hydride ion at ambient conditions will be enablers of advanced clean energy storage and electrochemical conversion technologies. The fact of the matter is that several hydride ion conductors have already been developed in some of the most recent years, but really none of the materials could achieve super ionic conduction at ambient conditions. So I think the researchers behind this project or behind this scientific breakthrough, they are planning to explore the physics underneath this particular phenomenon and extend the methods developed in this particular study to other hydride materials to broaden their material scope for other similar kind of conductors. So I feel like this particular breakthrough we are talking about, it has the potential to pave the way for the emergence or for the birth of new technologies for batteries that are greener and less carbon intensive.
Yeah.
That's as far as I can know with my limited scientific knowledge.
And after some research, yes, I understand that. And also, China has completed the world's first brain-computer interface experiment on primate subject.
Well, yes, China has completed the world's first brain-computer interface experiment on a primate subject. In May, China conducted the world's first brain-computer interface experiment on a non-human primate in Beijing. The experiment successfully implemented a brain-computer interface in monkeys, which allowed them to control a robotic arm with their thoughts, which is really incredible, quite scary. The brain-computer interface technology can convert electrical signals into commands so as to help patients with conditions that cause motor dysfunctions, like after a stroke, ALS, for example, to interact with their environment and improve their quality of life. This is according to Ma Yongjie, who is a neurosurgeon at Beijing-based Xuanyu Hospital, Capital Medical University. Ma was one of the team members who carried out this experiment.
Wow, that is another wow moment for me. And there's also exciting news that Chinese scientists have learned how to grow early kidneys, human kidneys, in pig embryos.
Yeah, that's a very, very exhilarating case for me personally to look at because really it's a Chinese team that has grown for the first time in the world today early kidneys from human stem cells inside pig embryos. So basically this advance has brought pig-grown human organs closer to reality, and it is opening up a brand new exciting chapter for kidney transplantation and a new window for the study of human kidney development.
Wonderful. And with the new year approaching, the current year winding down, we've witnessed not only technological breakthroughs that redefine our digital landscape for personal and the ever-evolving world of tech, let's ensure that progress remains a force of unity, compassion, and positive change. Coming up during the second half of the show, Heart to Heart. Stay tuned.
A podcast made especially for audiobook lovers.
I came into the world as the youngest of 5 children.
I wondered what Her Majesty would be like.
Fie upon you, limpid one. Why have you taken... Immerse yourself in gripping stories and timeless classics from the comfort of your room. 3 points on the context to
There was no better wine, and not to mention the...
Whether you're a bookworm or a casual listener, our carefully curated selection of audiobooks will transport you to new worlds and stir your imagination. Subscribe to Books and Beyond and start your audiobook adventure now on radio.cgtn.com or your favorite podcast app.
How are you? What's on your mind? Let's have a heart-to-heart on Roundtable. Ask us anything. We'll help you. The voice memo to EZFM Roundtable at foxmail.com. We'll play your question on Roundtable, then talk through it on the live show. Take care. We can't wait for Heart-to-Heart with you.
Looking for passion? How about fiery debate? Want to hear about current events in China from different perspectives? Then tune in to Roundtable.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Roundtable. Coming to you live from Beijing.
to a flashback of Roundtable, an in-depth discussion on the hottest topics in
Discussion keeps the world turning.
This is Roundtable.
You're listening to Roundtable with myself, He Young. I'm joined by Ding Heng in the studio and Josh Cotterell on the line. Next up, get ready to dive into the wild world of new sports that took 2023 by storm, from stand-up paddle boarding to baduanjin. And that's just the warm-up. Join us on a special ride as we delve into the 8 sports that own the spotlight this year. It's game on. And find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and any podcast platform of your choice. But hey, the party doesn't stop there. We want to hear your voice on our show. Got curious thoughts or burning questions? Record them and send them our way to EZFM Roundtable at foxmail.com and be part of our heart-to-heart segment now on Roundtable. As we gear up for the grand finale of 2023, we're not just reminiscing about the classics. Nope, we're diving headfirst into the coolest, newest, popular sports that stole the show this year. From stand-up paddle boarding to pickleball, I have to say I'm struggling to keep up. But my friends are here to help me. So let's go down the list. The most popular new sports of 2023 starts with stand-up paddle boarding, or SUP, S-U-P.
Yeah, so we are talking about a water sport born from surfing in Hawaii. It combines surfing and skating, and basically people can, stand up on boards that are floating on the water and use a paddle to propel themselves through the water. Sounds really cool, although I have not tried it, but really, if opportunity rises, I would like to try one day.
And that's the most popular sport in Beijing this summer. Remember on that little river of Liangma?
Wow.
Yeah, especially during COVID. And what are some of the other hot new sports out of these 8 that have stolen the spotlight in 2023? Josh.
Well, there are several. Of course, Frisbee is one of them. There's another one that is called urban axe throwing. This is where participants throw axes at wooden targets. Probably my favorite out of this list. We also have baduanjin, which is one of the most common forms of Chinese qigong. Land surfing, which is a board sport which combines elements of surfing and skateboarding. There's also one called spike ball, which is also known as round net. And this is where it's kind of like volleyball, and you have 2 teams and you have to sort of bounce the ball off a trampoline, which has become very popular on social media. I've seen a lot of videos of this.
Yeah, so we still have things like pickleball or archery tag. Archery tag is a gameplay that is a combination of 3 other main sports, including, dodgeball, paintball, and archery. It's very, very fascinating.
And in Chinese, it's called 攻防剑. I have to say, neither the Chinese or English register with me. That's how out of it I am. And also explain to us a little bit more about pickleball. That's been all over social media as well.
Yeah, so it is a racket or paddle sports in which 2 players or 4 players hit a perforated hollow plastic ball with paddles over a 34-inch high net until one side of the contestants is unable to return the ball, or when one side is beginning to commit an, let's say, infraction. We are talking about a combination of elements of tennis, table tennis, badminton, and it can be played both indoors and outdoors.
Wow. Okay, then. Not sure I'm going to try that one. But, Josh, you mentioned, I think you did, that the urban axe throwing sport is the one that you like the most out of the 8. And why?
I think that I probably have a lot of aggression and unworked out stress, trauma in my life, and so I enjoy sports like this.
Apparently, I don't know how authoritative this is, but some people actually go on a first date doing this. Do you think that's a good idea?
That would win my heart, for sure. anybody ever wants to take me out on a first date, take me axe throwing.
And
Sounds
when?
great.
Yeah. What about you, Dingheng? Out of these sports, have you played any of them?
Yeah, no, none of them. But yeah, I feel like this stand-up paddleboarding (SUP) is something I would like to try in a lake or in a river with fantastic water quality. I would really like to try this SUP thing. It's fascinating.
Okay. And Josh, have you tried out any one of these that you've actually done it?
No, not a single one. I have tried, it's called land surfing, but I've tried mountain boarding, which I think is a similar thing. I used to do that a little bit. Well, it's basically like a skateboard, but the wheels have tires on them, so you can do them off-road. You can go down a hill that has on it or something like that, and like go over jumps and things like
Quick
this.
question.
So I've tried mountain boarding.
Do most people come out of it in one piece without bruises and scrapes?
No, you have to be prepared to get bruised and cut a bit to do that sport, I think.
Okay.
But, you know, it's still very healthy and exhilarating. So I think if you wear the right equipment, the most you'll get is, I mean, obviously, I am not telling anybody that you're not likely to have a serious injury. The risk is high, which is why they're called extreme sports. But the reward is, of course, the incredible adrenaline that you get from doing it, which I think is definitely worth it.
Well, that's debatable. And I, for one, have not tried out any of these sports either. So does this make us sort of a lousy bunch? Well, after some investigation, why do some folks pick up these sports and are actually quite dedicated towards them?
Well, I feel like it's one way to relieve your pressure or some of your negative emotion, like activities like frisbee, paddleboarding, land surfing. They represent a new urban sports trend among the younger generation. I think one study I have looked into is that those born after 1990 generation is the driving force for outdoor activities, and women in general are another driving force. I have also learned about a case regarding a particular 28-year-old girl who early on lost both of her legs in a very tragic, car accident. Then she decided to try land surfing because the boards of land surfing does now require foot paddling. Instead, it only relies on your upper body movement for gliding, So this girl, which we would assume to be very unfortunate, she ended up making many like-minded partners and friends, and despite some of her really severe physical challenges, life can still be enjoyable, and the friendship she gained through a shared love for this particular sporting event, land surfing, has brought a new, vibrant chapter to her life.
Yeah, well, Josh, what do you see as the reasons that draw people to these new sports?
Well, I think that sports are popular for many reasons, but I think that ultimately all of us probably have a desire to do sports in some way or another. I think that people want to socialize. I think people enjoy being active. People are listening saying, no, I don't enjoy all of these things, but I think that we do all enjoy being with people who are like-minded and share similar interests, most people anyway. And I think sports offer that. I think sports offer a really healthy, positive, active community that makes it easy to socialize, makes it easy to make friends and easy to talk to. But the problem is that most sports are quite difficult to participate in. They can often be quite intimidating. People that do them might be doing it at a really high level, might be too competitive, it might be a bit cliquey. People might have a lot of knowledge about them because they've been doing it their whole life. And I know this because I play one of those sports, and I've been playing football since I was little, and I still play football competitively. And I'll be really honest, if you just wanted to come and have a try, it wouldn't be very welcome. As much as I'd love it to, it just wouldn't be. If you didn't meet the level, or if you were maybe a bit timid and weren't open and confident speaking with people, you probably have a really really boom here is because they seem to be much more accepting of all levels, whether you've tried it or you haven't. Maybe one of the reasons for this is because it might be different, and it might be just like the other sport, and they may be more cliquey. But I think that's one of the really big reasons why they've been so popular.
Yeah, so I guess the question remains regarding how popular or how enduring will their popularity be. I guess maybe the trajectory of, say, Frisbee can provide us with some valuable insights. According to Baidu search interest on this platform, surged from mid to late May in 2022, peaking in early July last year, only to steadily decline thereafter. Frisbee search hit an all-time low in search interest. So I guess over the long term, the success of any particular emerging sport would rely on, say, aligning with the broader public interests, fostering a healthy, industrial ecosystem, standardized rules, professional coaching, training, etc.
Yes, indeed. And I have to admit, I kind of got tired of talking about Frisbee. I'm glad to see that, we don't need to talk about that too much anymore. We'll see what happens next. But, yeah, it seemed like it was the only sport that everybody was buzzing about. And with some of these sports fads, I suppose, they come and go. And some will stay. Josh, do you see which one of these or also breaking the fourth wall a little bit, but Josh and I had a little chat, and I understand that you're a purist when it comes to sports. Does it bug you when I keep on saying that, these 8 sports, or do you see them differently?
It doesn't bug me too much. I think that in some ways I am a bit of a sports purist, but another way to say it would be that I'm just a bit of a sports snob, really. I've been playing sports all my life, and I think that I probably need to be a bit more open-minded to some of these new sports, because I do think they are sports, but for me the essence of sport is competitiveness. So I think that distinguishes maybe a sort of outdoor activity to a sport. I think in sport there needs to be tough competition. So some of these sports maybe have less so. Frisbee seems to be one that's, I don't think this is particularly new. This has been popular in a lot of countries for going on 20 years now, ultimate Frisbee. So for me, if I had to say one of them, if I had to be an AI language generative model and guess which one's going to be successful, I would say Frisbee would be my guess.
All right. You're listening to Roundtable. Coming up next, let's have a moment of heart to heart.
You ask.
We answer. Roundtable. Heart to heart. Into our mailbag and respond to your emails and voice memos. Firstly, this is from our listener, Spencer. You asked, what's the TV series that Cindy recommended in last week's Heart to Heart segment? Well, let me tell you, I suppose. It is called This Is Us. These 3 little words, look it up and hope it helps. Have fun with it. Secondly, Carl, presumably from Guangzhou, enjoyed a previous discussion on Discover the Charm of City Walks and wants to shed light on geocaching. What the heck is geocaching? Have you guys heard of this? Yingheng and Josh?
No. Apologies. No, but nope.
Well, I think the geocache treasure hunting thing, like an outdoor activity sorts.
In essence, geocaching is the process of hiding and locating small containers using only GPS coordinates. Geocaching is a type of global treasure hunt of people looking for caches or hidden stashes of objects. And the main point of geocaching is to get more people outside and to introduce them to the world around them. And there's a website, just look it up, it's on the internet, and you'll find out more of geocaching. It's kind of like an official activities website. So thank you so much, Carl, for putting geocaches on our radar. And when you're city walking in this new place, or it could be, your backyard of your hometown or whatnot, geocaching is maybe something that you can find like-minded people who are enjoying this activity together. It sounds like quite a blast. And thirdly, our longtime listener So Wei blew us away with his photography chops and deep thoughts a few months ago. He's back, and he has dropped another gem in our inbox. Hit that play button, and let's hear him out.
Hey Roundtable, it's me again, Song Wei from Lanzhou. It's been quite long since I received your special gift mailed to me. A niche CGTN bookmarker, a nice-looking board-shaped sachet of embroidery with long dark blue tassels on it, and most surprisingly, a commemorative notebook with He Yang's autograph and handwritten blessings for me. On my WeChat moment of July the 14th, I posted the pictures of gifts from Roundtable, which harvested quite a few thumbs up. I regard it as one of my most beautiful moments in the whole summer of the year 2023. I cherish your gifts the way I treasure a collection of letters from friends back into my college days, when correspondence used to be something like an emotional bond between friends and beloved ones. Speaking of which, I remember the quotation commonly cited when describing how people in the past used to lead a life with everything being pretty much slow-paced, quote-unquote, 从前慢，车马邮件都慢. Hard to define how long ago could it be called in the past. For me, radio is something that belongs to both the past and the present. To say it belongs to the past, I mean the word radio involves subtle elements of nostalgia. To say it belongs to the present, I feel lucky to be a listener of your show as long as I want to, without any restrictions of time and space. I always think of you guys, a Roundtable, the way how images of my old friends may often come into my mind, though we never met in reality, but only heard each other on the air. I could very easily recognize who is who when hearing you guys talking, including some hosts who visit the show only occasionally. It's an amazing experience to visualize what comes into my ears. In the last part of your show, on July the 7th, He Yang read her translation version of Pu Shu's song, 冲出你的窗口, followed by the original singing version of Pu Shu, which He Yang said she would like to play as a gift for me in particular. It is really a big surprise and such a big bonus. He Yang, how do you know I'm a super fan of Pu Shu? Plus, me myself has been engaged in the field of lyrics translation for quite some time. Up till today, I have translated 150 songs from Chinese to English. There's a long list of singers my translation has covered, on which Pu Shu is one of my most favorite. Attached to my voice memo are some of my translated texts, in which my translation of 凤凰花开的路口 by Lin Zhixuan is the latest one. I'm planning to get a monograph of lyrics translation published at the end of next year, by the time of which I will have finished the translation of another 150 songs. It will be my great honor if I could get any of your comments as the endorsement for publishing. In my last audio clip featured on your show, Li Yi said I was such a good photographer and asked if I could share some skills of photography. I'm so flattered, and my answer is yes. But do you mind if I friend you on WeChat? Just kidding. I'm not a professional photographer in any sense, but I really appreciated that they enjoyed my shooting. Among all genres of photographic settings, I like scenarios of nature best. Again, I get some photos attached to this voice memo. Some of them were taken here in Lanzhou, and the rest of which in Sanya, and on the island of Malay and Halabili of the Maldives. Hope you would enjoy every sunrise and every sunset. Take care, my friends.
Hello, my friend. Songwei from Lanzhou. It is so great to hear from you again and to receive attached to it. Josh, what do you have to say to our lovely listener?
Well, I think that it's pretty amazing that you're able to translate these songs. As somebody who works in music myself and is familiar with, I think, lyrics, at least in the English language, I know that it's very difficult to do so. I know that lyrics are quite complex, and the poetry and style of writing can be very varied and even very abstract. And there are even lyrics in one's own native language which aren't fully understandable, or their meanings are multi-interpretational or something like this. So I think that the translation of those into another language must take a lot of time, care and effort in order to understand both languages and try to find the true meaning, which I know is why true translations are very difficult, especially between languages that are so greatly different, being Mandarin Chinese, I presume, and English. So I think that that's very impressive, and I think that it's great that you plan to publish your translations next year. So good luck to you, and I really look forward to reading them. I think that what you're doing is really admirable, and I must say, as a musician myself, I appreciate it very much.
All right. Yes, I've had a quick read, a browse of some of Song Wei's literary translations, and I really like them. And I will unzip that compressed document and send you some of the lyrics by Song Wei, who's translated them in such a professional and very beautiful manner. Ding Hung, so what do you have to say to our listeners out there?
Yeah, thank you very much. And it's so nice to be able to meet you here on air, Mr. Song Wei from Lanzhou. When you were talking about you can recognize somebody, other host who visits this show from time to time. Anyway, so I guess basically we are looking at, well, we are talking about a person who has a great love and passion for songs, lyrics, and difficult thing to do in reality, but keep that up.
Yeah, having a hobby and a passion, these are the things that keeps us going, because life can be difficult. The photos of Lanzhou, Sanya, and the Maldives, you love the sunset so well. Yeah.
poate servi de exemplu al aplicării acestei stratageme. Благодарю вас за внимание.
Передача из Пекина окончена. До свидания.
Я думаю, твой...
Zor